Welcome back. We're with our third inductee into the Cardinal Pride Hall of Fame, Judy Aagesen. Judy, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here and honored.
Well, as I looked through your materials, it seemed to me that you had a long career here in Willmar and coached a lot of different things.
Actually, I didn't really teach many years here. I started coaching first, and I think it was right around 1969 or something like that, and gymnastics was the first, and then added tennis and swimming, and then when those switched from fall to spring and stuff, I switched to volleyball, basketball, and then back to tennis again. And so actually I only coached, or only taught, from 72 for about 5 years in the middle 70s then and stuff. But I also look at the fact that I had a husband and 7 children and 3 dogs besides doing this. And but I've loved sports all my life. My dad kind of instilled more love of it by taking me out to the Bison football and basketball games in Fargo.
So were you the first female girls basketball coach here in Willmar?
No, actually I believe Deb Ba was the first basketball coach. I believe the 3 sports where I was the first coach was the gymnastics and the swimming and the tennis. And then the other, and there were other women coaches too. Debbie Ba was one. Elaine Engel was one of the other ones. Carol Morsetter was another one, and Carol Wagner was the other one. There were 5 of us. And
I saw where you're a graduate of Fargo Shanley.
yes.
Was there athletics available for young women when you were in high school?
No, actually there wasn't, but we had a physical education teacher there that tried to get us involved in as many activities like speedway, flag football, basketball, volleyball, golf, no swimming. We didn't have a pool at Shanley. All of those. And then we would have games, like when I was a freshman and our basketball team played the juniors, which my sister was on that team, and she was really good. And anyway, they ended up beating us. But the next year when we were sophomores and they were seniors, we turned it around and we clobbered them. And she had us play against Moorhead, but we invited the parents, and then the home team brought potluck things, and we all got together afterwards. So it was competitive, at least for me, out on the court. But I don't know if many students even knew about them, because it was mostly your parents and grandparents that came.
Judy, I understand that there's kind of an interesting story about renewing your teaching certificate. You want to tell us about that? Right.
As long as I was coaching swimming and tennis, there didn't seem to be any problems. But when I got one of the classes that I was taking to renew my certificate was the Advanced Theory of Competitive Athletics. 60 students in the class. I walked in there, and there were 59 male coaches and myself. And everything was fine as long as, but when I told them I was coaching basketball, their demeanor turned, how can I put it? Like, not in my gym, you're not. And I said, oh my. and that was their turf. And they were reluctant to give up playing time in that gymnasium. And but once the Title IX was in there legally, they could do nothing about it. And so we came and we got our foot in the door, and we've stayed.
When you started coaching, when you coached here, I'm assuming they had a schedule within a conference and you went to all the conference schools to play?
I'm trying to think back to, yeah, there was a conference. I don't know if, I know that like we played Olivia and Litchfield and some of them might have been in the conference, but we probably were picking up games from schools that weren't in our conference simply because they had teams and maybe the other ones didn't.
During your lifetime, the landscape of women's athletic has changed a lot. What do you think the biggest change has been as you've observed it?
At the beginning, I believe it was the acceptance of the girls' sports programs. I think that with the fact that we were invading the gymnasiums and whatnot like that, but I also think that over the years, the talent of the girls has gotten better. I also see a lot more opportunities for the girls. I know that in Iowa, where they still played 3-on-3, no crossing the middle line for many years, that it took a legal battle before that was changed, because before that, the girls couldn't go out to college to play basketball. They didn't know how to play 5-on-5.
Did you ever dream that young women would have the opportunities that they have available, and that you helped that along?
No, I dreamed about it, and a lot of times I would get up games with the guys, but I dreamed of it. Matter of fact, one time at Shanley, they had the All-American Redheads play basketball. This was all women, kind of like the other side of the, what do you call it, the Harlem Globetrotters, right? And I was there, and I tell you, I was ready to drop out of school and go with them. Of course, my mother would have nothing to do with that, but that was to see them, to see the way that they could play, the way that they, even, like some of the guys used to do, even without looking, they knew where that other player was, and zip, the ball went there, just like that. And it was just amazing. It was amazing. But I never dreamed that there would be anything that would be comparable to them.
Do you have any memories of games you coached while you were here? One that stood out for you, or athletes that you had?
I remember when we were playing Apollo at Willmar, and we had some good players, but they had, I think, they called them the Twin Towers, and I believe they were two girls that were twins, and they were 6'1", and the tallest player that we ever had, I believe, was 5'10", and that was only one. We never had more than that, and we jumped into a lead. Our quickness and our shooting ability, and I was trying to talk to the girls about slowing the tempo down and making sure that now that we've got the lead, to take the shot that was going to best avail us to keep that lead and to go on and to beat them. And the girls kind of looked at me, and it was like, because I don't think that we had ever talked about doing anything like that before, and I'm not so sure that they knew exactly what type of strategy that I was trying to do. And so the slowdown didn't really come about like I wanted it to, and we ended up getting beat.
Your husband taught here too. You want to talk a little bit about that? He was here for a long time.
Yes, he was. Matter of fact, I've talked to other people about him, and he was a teacher, and that was his gift. He was a teacher, and the kids just loved him. And he was a coach too. He coached under Bill Hansen, and he was a good coach. He was. I don't think Bill was one that would get holler or anything like that, and I don't think my husband was either. He was pretty mild mannered, but he loved coaching. He had been a star football player over at Appleton and a starting guard on their state basketball team, and then he was also one of the premier runners in track, and he was also a baseball player. So he actually played 4 sports, and he was good at all of them. And but he always told me, he said, I could never coach girls, because if they started to whine or cry, and it sometimes that did happen, but he just said that sometimes you had to get down hard on the guys, and he said, and I don't know if I could do that. And he said, so, but I also know that after the equal salaries for men and women became a reality, that a lot of the women coaches lost their jobs to men coaches who came in and saw that this was something that they wanted to do, and that was okay, because some of them, are doing very well at it, and even in the ranks of the college coaches for women's basketball, there are men coaches too, and like I say, and they seem to be doing, and the women seem to be able to take it and stuff. But in those early years, I don't know if the girls, I think in one of the movies, A League of Our Own, I think that Tom Hanks is hollering at one of the girl baseball team players, crying. We don't cry. You don't cry. And she was, so, and I don't know if my husband saw that movie or not, but I think that's kind of what he thought might happen.
Now, you said that you had 7 children. Any of them around the area? Or?
My son, Michael, lives up by Morris, Minnesota, and he was active in sports in high school. He played tennis and basketball and football. And my daughter, Patricia, lives over by Madison, and she was involved in tennis, basketball, and softball. And then there was Maria, and she was in volleyball, basketball, and softball. And Karen was tennis, basketball, softball. And Lisa was tennis, basketball, softball. And then the youngest son, Billy, was Down syndrome, and he was in Special Olympics in the track and field events. They all did very well. I believe that each and every one of them at one time or another made it to a state tournament, or when they got to college, Maria made it to the nationals in volleyball, and I believe Karen and Teresa made it to the nationals in tennis, and I believe Lisa made it to state in high school. So they all were very, very active in the sporting events that they had, and I was fortunate to be able to coach only one of them, my daughter Pat. Before then, I lost my job at the high school, and then I was asked if I wanted to coach tennis, the women's tennis team out at the college and stuff, and I ended up coaching Karen and Teresa out there in tennis.
Well, if I remember right, in 1983, you received an honor at Moorhead State also?
Yes, I was. The third woman, actually, my professor, Jessie McKellar, and one of my teachers, Flora Frick, were the 2 previous women inductees into that. And I believe that I was there and at their reception and talking to somebody, and I just happened to talk about my kids and all of the sports that they were involved in, and all of the recreational sports that I was still involved in. And so when they wrote me a letter and asked me if I would write up a biography about myself and my family and send it in. I think that they kind of looked at what I had been able to accomplish with coaching and with myself and with my family and my love of the sports, because even though they didn't have anything active for us when I was there, and I believe that was the criteria that they used, for me to be inducted into the Dragon Hall of Fame. And that was quite an honor, especially to be put in the company of the two ladies that were my mentors before me.
Well, Judy, thank you for taking time for coming in to talk to us today. Congratulations on being selected for the Cardinal Pride Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was quite honored when I got the first letter, and I didn't really say much to my family about it for about a month. I just kind of was in shock or something, and then I finally did tell them on the 4th of July, and I said, by the way, you better keep October 20th because I'm going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Mom, we know already, but we think you better check your date because it's October 2nd.
Our first inductee to be honored tonight is Judy Aagesen. From 1969 to 1978, Judy coached 5 girls varsity sports at Willmar High School and was very instrumental in helping establish girls sports at Willmar High School. In 1983, Judy led the Willmar Community College women's tennis team to the MCCAC Region Championship and qualified for the National Junior College Athletic Association National Tournament. In 1983, Judy was inducted into the Morehead State University Dragon Hall of Fame. In 1990, Judy's Willmar Community College women's tennis team was National Junior College Athletic Association Region 13 champions and once again qualified for the National Junior College Athletic Association National Tournament. In 1990, Judy was named National Junior College Athletic Association Region 13 Women's Tennis Coach of the Year. There are a couple of people Judy wishes could be here to share this honor. Her late husband Jim and son Billy. In honor of Jim, Judy's daughter is holding one of his jackets. Judy said she would like to thank her family, for without them, this could never have been possible. Judy's plaque is presented by Cardinal Pride board member Sharon Rambo. Judy Aagesen.